When I was about 13, maybe 14, I got excluded from school because I'd been accused of setting fire to the school library, which I hadn't done. Myself and a lot of other people actually knew who was responsible, but I wasn't believed. So I was arrested on suspicion of arson and I was taken to the police station, and I needed an appropriate adult to be interviewed. Well, at this time, like so many occasions, my mum was away abroad with my soon-to-be stepfather because he was a long-distance lorry driver, and that was a regular thing where she'd go abroad with him and leave me and my brother home alone. Now, my brother's only 18 months older than me, and so I'd got the police to ring a family friend to be my appropriate adult, and I was questioned and I was released on bail for 2 weeks. Well, the family friend was able to get hold of my mum, who I believe was in Italy or maybe France at the time, and explained to her what had gone on and that she needed to get back home. And I remember a day or so later, the family friend's front door knocked, and I kind of knew by the knock that it was my mum. And I was told to get in the car, we were going home. And I remember we'd only been literally in the house no longer than 5 minutes. And I was being interrogated and grilled about what had gone on. And obviously I'm there trying to explain that, I hadn't done it. And that there are a lot of people that know that I hadn't done it and had actually spoken up to the fact that I hadn't done it. But my soon-to-be stepfather turned round to me and said, when you go back to the police station in 2 weeks' time, you are going to admit to it, you are going to tell the truth. And I was basically, I'm not going to admit to something I haven't done. Fair enough, if I'd done it, I'd hold my hands up. I did it, but... And I just thought to myself, what is the point in having this conversation if nobody believes a word of what I'm saying anyway? So I turned around to them both and I was like, I'm not having this conversation anymore. You clearly don't believe me. And I went to walk out the kitchen. Well, at this time, I think the kitchen window and the back door, porch door was open. So as I went to pull the kitchen door over, there was a crosswind, which had caused the kitchen door to slam shut. I think I'd only made it about halfway up the stairs and I was punched in the back of my head and I fell face down onto the stairs. Now, bearing in mind, this is an old style kind of house, what they call a prefabricated house. So the stairs were between wooden and being almost metal. So they were quite sturdy and they were quite tough. And then I remember my stepdad grabbed my head and started bashing my face off of the stairs, telling me that I was a disrespectful little bastard and that how fucking dare I speak to my mum like that, how dare I be so fucking disrespectful. And he was doing it repeatedly, and I tried to squirm free and ended up getting punched in the face. And at this, it was repeatedly punched in the face. And my brother had overheard all this and had come from the living room, and he got to the bottom of the stairs and my mum grabbed him and pushed him back into the living room and turned around and said, "No, leave him, the little bastard deserves it." And my stepdad kept punching me and punching me repeatedly in the face. And I have never ever felt pain like that in my entire life. I remember being able to kick myself free and being able to scramble up the stairs and into my bedroom, and I was able to barricade my bedroom door closed. And at this point I was contemplating where to go, what to do. So I decided that I'd shimmy down the drain pipe and into the back garden. Across the back garden, the fence led to the school that was behind my mum's house. Well, I knew that across from the school was where my mum's friend lived. So I thought that was my safest option, to go there. So I went and I knocked on her door, and she basically wanted to know what the fuck had gone on. And I told her what had happened once I'd got home, what my stepdad had done to me. And she said, "Right, get in the fucking car." So we got in the car and she drove me back home. And once we got home, she asked my stepdad what the fuck had gone on, to which my stepdad had responded to her that I disrespected my mum and that I needed teaching a fucking lesson. Now, I get if being cheeky to your mum, you might deserve to smack arse or, you know, something along those lines. But I'd actually suffered a broken nose and a broken jaw, and my face was absolutely covered in blood. When I reported this to the police and they went and spoke to my mum and my stepdad, the line that they got back from them two was that it was all a load of lies, that I had a habit of making things up, and that I'd actually fallen down the stairs. And it was left at that. There was incidences after that where he'd been violent towards me. He forced me to watch whilst he beat my eldest brother up and broke his nose and fractured his eye socket. I'd seen a few times where he'd slapped my other brother around the face too. And this is all whilst my mum sat and watched this all happen and not try and intervene. I know years later she used the excuse that she was scared of him, but being scared of somebody and then allowing them to do that to your children, I don't know about to any of you out there, but it just doesn't kind of wash with me.